Hello everyone, hope you're doing well and welcome to today's English lesson, and today we are going to focus on writing short compositions on various topics. And at the end of the lesson, I promise you that you'll be able to examine the features associated with parallel writing. So today we are going to focus more on parallel writing. Before getting started, I want you to read this paragraph. Observe the sentence structures carefully, children. Let's read it together. Mrs. Nethuli Pereira is a teacher. She teaches English. She teaches in Nelumvilla Mahavidyalaya. She looks middle-aged. She is very strict and punctual. She travels to school by bus. She likes to wear colorful saris. Let's read another paragraph. And this is also about a teacher. Right? When you read this, see whether you can see the similarities between this paragraph and the previous one. Miss Raini Jaisingha is a teacher. She teaches science. She teaches in Kakulu Primary Vidyalaya. She looks very young. She is very kind and helpful. She travels to school by her car. She likes to wear beautiful saris. Now let's compare both paragraphs. Before that, I want you to focus on what I mentioned earlier, that is parallel writing. Look at this paragraph once again. This is the very first paragraph we read together about Mrs. Nethuli Pereira. And when you observe this particular paragraph on this slide, you can see the color indications. Blue is the content. And then the rest of the sentences, we can call it the structure or the layout of the paragraph. Now, let's take a look at the other paragraph as well. And here too you see the color indications. Once again, what you see in blue is the content and what you see in black is the layout or the structure. When you observe both paragraphs, can you see that it is parallel? The layout is parallel, but we have changed the content. So this is what we call parallel writing. You are given a paragraph and you are expected to write something similar with different content. Right? Let's discuss further. What is parallel writing? Parallel construction or parallel writing is making or maintaining similar elements of your writing according to a given example. Right? You are given an example, you have to strictly follow the structure there. These elements need to be followed the consistent pattern. The pattern should be consistent. You can't change the way you want. Your writing follows the same pattern of the given example. That is why we call it parallel writing. Right? And that is something important which you have to keep in mind when it comes for parallel writing. In your writing, spelling, punctuating, using the correct layout, choosing the right vocabulary, using grammar correctly, and joining sentences correctly should be considered. When we do the next activity, you will definitely understand what I am talking about. Let's take a look at it. Parallel structure. Look at the first sentence. I am reading about dogs, cats, and birds. If you are to write a parallel sentence for this, you can simply replace the words dogs, cats, and birds and say, I am reading about trees, flowers, and bushes. Right? You have not changed the structure. You changed only the content. Hope that is clear. And the second one, I told you about grammar. Observe this sentence carefully. I plan to walk the dog, write a letter, and go to bed. If it is the given example, if you are to write something parallel to this, remember to keep the grammar correctly. The third one is also somewhat similar. He was talking on the phone and doing his homework at the same time. Observe the sentence structure here. Talking, doing. Right? So this is what I mentioned when I said to focus on grammar, punctuation and so on when it comes for parallel writing. Right. Let's move on to a small activity. Look at this picture. What is it? Yes, it is a picture of a kitchen. You know, it's a commonplace in every house. And let's see what sort of a paragraph we can write based on this picture. A short description. This is what I have written. Read it carefully and observe the sentence structure and also the content which is shown in red. And also observe what you see in green. Helping verb as well as the preposition. Right? This is a kitchen. There are some cupboards. There is a kettle on the oven. There are some spoons hanging on the wall. There are some cups and saucers on the cupboard. This is a simple description of this picture. What we are going to do now is to write something parallel to this paragraph based on the second picture you see here. I told you earlier that we are going to follow the same structure but changing the content. Example, this is a kitchen because we describe a kitchen in the first picture. But the second picture shows a living room. So instead of this is a kitchen, you would write this is a living room. Likewise, you can continue the rest of the paragraph talking about this particular picture, a small description. And remember, according to your sentence, you can change the helping verb as well as the prepositions. Give it a try. It's just a matter of keeping the layout and change the content according to the second picture, which is a living room. Hope the picture is clear, and I hope you are familiar with what you see there in a living room. A common place where we like to spend our time leisurely. Right, now let's take a look at the constructed paragraph. Let's read it first. This is a living room. There is a settee. So here, instead of are, I'm using is according to my sentence. There is a television on the TV stand. There are some pictures hanging on the wall. There are some flowers in the vase. And in the last sentence, I'm using in instead of on in the previous paragraph because here I need the appropriate preposition in according to my new sentence. Right? I'll give you a few minutes, quickly go through both paragraphs and see whether you can see what I told you about the parallel writing. Can you see the parallel structure? Focus on that. Right. Now let's slowly move on to another activity. What do you see here? It's a rooster, and we have a few information about the rooster. Type bird, skill, can't fly high, body parts, beak, 2 legs and feathers, special feature, crown on the head, food, grain and worms, home, ground, ability, fighting. Now let's see how we are going to construct a paragraph using all these information, right? So this is the paragraph I have written. Rooster is a bird. It cannot fly high. It has a beak, 2 legs and feathers. It has a crown on his head. It eats grain and worms. It lives on ground. People can train it to fight. Now please observe the structure. Right? And we are going to slowly change a few words from this paragraph to write about another bird. What do you see here? It's a parrot. We can simply see the paragraph which I have already written. Follow the same structure. Replacing certain words, you are going to write about the parrot. We have the information here. Type bird, skill, can fly high, body parts, beaks, 2 legs and feathers, special feature, red line around the neck, food, grain and fruits, home, nests, ability, talking. You know that parrots can be trained to imitate our words. Right, I'll give you a few minutes. Try it on your own, please. Follow the structure and replace the words which you think should be replaced. Right, let's take a look at the new paragraph which you have constructed. Okay, to make it easier, I have highlighted it and also underlined it. Rooster is a bird. Parrot is a bird. It cannot fly high. The parrot, it can fly high. It has a beak, 2 legs and feathers. And in the second paragraph, we are writing, it has a beak, 2 legs and feathers. The same information. It has a crown on its head. In the second paragraph, it has a red line around the neck. When it comes for the rooster, it eats grain and worms. And the parrot, it eats grain and fruits. The rooster lives on ground. The parrot lives in nests. People can train the rooster to fight, and the parrot, people can train it to talk. You can understand now how simple this task is. Just a matter of replacing the suitable words. But remember to keep in mind that you have to use the correct spelling as well as the correct grammar. Right, let's move on to a different topic. What do you see here? We are talking about a familiar town, a town which is famous, Nuwara. Right. Let's read the information we have about Nuwara so that we can include all these facts into our paragraph. A famous town in the hill country, cold and misty, rich with tea estates, vegetable beds, mountains, location of the highest mountain Pidurthalagala, location of the Gregory Lake, location of a park, things in the park, beautiful flowers, ponds and green meadows. I can show you my paragraph as well. Nuwara is a famous town in the hill country. It is cold and misty. The surrounding is rich with tea estates, vegetable beds and mountains. The highest mountain Pidurthalagala is in Nuwara. The famous Gregory Lake is also in this town. There is a park in Nuwara and it has beautiful flowers, ponds and green meadows. Please observe the structure of the sentences, because I'm going to ask you to write a paragraph based on another famous town in Sri Lanka. Shall we move on to that? Yes. Galle, a famous town in the southern coast of Sri Lanka. Right? Slowly read through the facts given on the slide and see whether you can build your paragraph. Don't worry, there is help from me for sure. Let's read this quickly. Famous town in the southern coast, sunny and windy, rich with beaches, fisheries and the sea. Location of the old Dutch fortress, location of the Galle Fort Lighthouse, location of a national museum, things in the museum, collection of turtle shell manufacturing, Biralu lace weaving, wooden mask carving. Now I have given you my paragraph about Nuwara, at the same time the facts about Galle. What you're going to do is to make use of these facts, and you're going to write a paragraph, something parallel to this one. I'll leave it for a few minutes like this. I think you can work it on your own. Nuwara is a famous town in the hill country. Likewise, you can construct your first sentence. Galle is a famous town in the southern coast. There's a sentence which says about weather, about the special features, what is the city is surrounded by, about a few locations. I think the color indications on my paragraph would help you. You simply have to replace the words in red with these facts you have about Galle, and keep in mind to make necessary changes with pronouns and helping verbs. Right, now let's check the paragraph. Right. Galle is a famous town in the southern coast. It is sunny and windy. The surrounding is rich with the beaches, fisheries and the sea. The old Dutch fortress is in Galle. Galle Fort Lighthouse is in Galle. There is a national museum in Galle, and it has collection of turtle shell manufacturing, Biralu lace weaving and wooden mask carving. Now let's take a look at both paragraphs and see whether we can identify the special features of parallel writing. Observe both paragraphs carefully and try to grasp the structure of parallel writing. Nuwara is a famous town in the hill country. Galle is a famous town in the southern coast. It is cold and misty. It is sunny and windy. The surrounding is rich with tea estates, vegetable beds and mountains. The surrounding is rich with the beaches, fisheries and the sea. The highest mountain, Piduruthalagala, is in Nuwara. The old Dutch fortress is in Galle. The famous Gregory Lake is also in this town. Galle Fort Lighthouse is in Galle. There is a park in Nuwara and it has beautiful flowers, ponds and green meadows. There is a national museum in Galle and it has collections of turtle shell manufacturing, Biralu lace weaving and wooden mask carving. Hope you understood what I meant by parallel writing. Okay, we have one more task to complete, and for this I think you need your textbook, and I believe you have it with you. Please go to page 114, and this is activity 1. I wonder whether my screen is clear, but don't worry, you have your textbook with you. So please make use of your textbook and read the paragraph about Rizwan and Amali. Rizwan is from Batticaloa, Amali is from Kurunegala, and both these friends, Rizwan and Amali, are talking about their ambition, what they are interested in. Right, let's read it together. Rizwan says, I want to be an expert in information technology. After my O-levels, I will have to follow either biological or physical science for my A-levels with physics as a compulsory subject. I would like to enter the Faculty of Information Technology at the University of Moratuwa. However, I need to improve my English as the lectures are conducted only in English. Let's listen to Amali. Amali is from Kurunegala, and she says, my ambition is to become a qualified musician as I am very interested in Eastern music. I hope to continue studying this subject for my A-levels, which means I will have to follow the art stream. If I qualify to enter the university, I will have to face an aptitude test held by the University of Visual and Performing Arts. Right, now we are going to write about Nethuli from Piliyandala. Her ambition is to become an automobile engineer. Her interests: learning about vehicles. A-levels, Science and Technology subject stream. Higher education, University of Moratuwa. Right? I can show you the previous slide. You can follow this structure. You can make use of your textbooks definitely and try to write about Nethuli from Piliyandala. Remember the structure? It's the matter of replacing words. Right, now let's take a look at the paragraph I have written and see whether it goes along with your paragraph. Yes, here we have the facts about Nethuli, and this is how I have constructed the paragraph. I want to be an automobile engineer. You know, Rizwan and Amali, they spoke in first person, so I have started my sentence also in the same manner, and please observe the inverted commas or quotation marks because it is an utterance. As I am interested in learning about vehicles. After my O-levels, I wish to follow the Science and Technology subject stream. I would like to enter the University of Moratuwa. All right, children. I hope you understand what parallel writing is all about. You must have come across these kind of activities in your grade 10 and 11 textbooks, also in your term test papers. So today I have explained the simple method of writing a parallel paragraph based on the example given to you. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and until I see you with another interesting lesson, I say goodbye. Take care.